How many of you have seen videos like this before? To be honest, this is not normal at all. And today I brought a psychologist on our show to come talk about this. Why would a mother treat her own child like this? It doesn't make sense. I'm sure a lot of you know this guy. His name is Dr. Flash on TikTok. He makes videos about mental health. And today he's going to be explaining why mothers would treat their own babies this way. Sir, can you tell us about this? What do you think about this video?
Well, this is abnormal. It is not normal at all. And such a person needs medical attention ASAP as soon as possible. And there are different things that cause it. One of it is guilt and shame.
What do you mean by guilt and shame?
So someone like this can be overwhelmed with the pressure, the anxiety to take care of a baby. So let's take, for instance, she's a teenager when she gave birth to that baby. And then at the end of the day, she doesn't want the pregnancy. It's an unwanted pregnancy. She gave birth out of wedlock. So, but because of pressure, perhaps family pressure, she kept the baby. But because she was just overwhelmed with the aptitude to take care of the baby, she couldn't just use her emotions to take care of the baby. So she's overwhelmed with guilt and shame that at the end of the day, she is not given the full attention a parent is supposed to give a child. There's a hormone called oxytocin. That bonding hormone is not so much within her. And that's what we call postpartum depression. So it happens in women like that, out of wedlock, out of unwanted pregnancy. So it's quite unfortunate for someone like that.
Oh, this is really crazy and it's scary at the same time because a baby that young spend most of its time with the mother. So how is anyone supposed to know how the mother is even treating the baby? So for some of you might have noticed it, especially those of you that are newly married. Maybe you have noticed this behavior in your wife. You see that your wife treats your baby in a certain way sometimes. And of course you feel for her. And sometimes you be like, oh, maybe stress. Or maybe truly this child is really stubborn. Or this child can be frustrating. But that might not really be the case. Some of you mothers may have also noticed it, that your daughter treats her child in a certain way. Dr. Flash is trying to tell us that this could be a sign of a medical illness. How should this issue be addressed?
It is very, very important that this issue is addressed, and not just the person, the patient himself or herself, the people surrounding, the spouse. And then just for people who are newly wedded, it is important to take this person to a therapist or to the hospital or to a psychiatrist to evaluate this. Now, there are some things you could see before you could actually go to the hospital. There are some signs, there are some lifestyles modification changes you could notice. Mood swings could be there. You start noticing mood swings, some kind of, the person is happy just now, and then within split second you see the person sad again, very agitated, quite scary. So these are signs that you should take note of, and then you should take the person to the hospital. Sometimes when you tell this person that you need to go to the hospital, the person will be like, there's nothing wrong with me. Please invite the psychiatry home. It is very important. And that's why I used to usually say something like, there's a thin line between us and then people who are mad. Do you understand? Everybody has that future, that spirit of madness. You understand? That madness is just some lifestyle, some things that could just affect. And for this woman now, it's perhaps she was just depressed, and the anxiety to just take care of the child, she was just overwhelmed with all of those things. And you could see something like that. So it is very, very essential to seek a medical counsel, to seek a psychiatrist. So if you're not mood swing, you could see changes in behaviors. The way you communicate, the person don't put words together the normal way again as it used to be. But all of those things are just symptoms, are signs that you should see before taking such person to the hospital. I think those are part of it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Flash. So if you are suspecting that your daughter or your spouse or your sister or anybody around you, is demonstrating a strange behavior towards their own child, their own baby, the best thing to do is to consult and speak to a psychiatrist. Although very, very Nigerians have this mentality that only mad people go to psychiatric hospital or seek psychiatric doctors, but apparently mental health is something a lot of us should worry about, especially as adults. So please, this message is really, really important. There's a video I would like you to react to.
Okay.
A video went viral recently of a child in school, and the teacher was seriously giving that boy a knock. I'm sure you saw the video, went viral. In fact, Very Dark Man was so mad, he said he was going to fly down to Lagos State with his Ratel group that they were going to bring down that school if the woman does not face justice. You never heard of it.
I didn't see it anyway, but it's quite unfortunate. You see,
the teacher was seriously giving that boy a knock, multiple knocks, that the boy is not smart, he's stressing. But why everybody was saying that the woman needs to be jailed, but when I saw it, I felt that woman is dealing with serious issues. Very serious one. And she's a threat to the students, to the pupils of that school. You see, so what do you have to say about that? I mean, this is not like, okay, it's a mother to a child relationship.
This is a teacher to a student relationship. You see, there are some steps I wish we could be taking, perhaps as individuals, as organization, or as government. People like this, you don't take them to the jail or to the prison. You don't just use some legal actions on them. These people need a psychiatry. Do you understand? You need to take them to an asylum, but they need to be tested and diagnosed first. That is abnormal. That is not supposed to be. So part of the things could be that displacement. There's what we call psychological displacement. Perhaps she has something at home. The husband made her angry, or the children, or she has problem with the principal of the school, or one thing or the other, and then she's relaying or transferring the aggression on that child. That is one thing. Another thing could be her herself. She could be suffering from some mental health issues, which is attention is needed as soon as possible. So taking such a person for diagnosis, perhaps the authorities in that school should take her to that this thing to just evaluate whatever it is that is happening. And also that kind of action could be other teachers can also emulate that kind of expression, which is very, very sad and very unfortunate. So such persons should be isolated, removed from that school, not legal action immediately. Because ideally, it might not just be our own conscious act doing that.
She may be suffering from something.
She may be suffering from something. Yeah, so she needs scan, she needs test, she needs to be evaluated.
What kind of mental issues could cause someone to behave that way?
Different kind of mental issues.
Can you list some of them?
Okay. Just like I said the other time, postpartum depression.
But that one happens between mothers and their children.
So that could actually happen. You could relate, just like I said, displacement the other time. You could see that child like your child. Do you understand? That student like your child. So you could be relaying such anger, you understand, on that child. Another thing would be, multiple personality disorder. Bipolar disorder too can be there. That means having the personality, you're smiling just now, happy, and then at an instant you switch to being in agony or being aggressive.
Is that not agitated? Like mood swing?
Yes, those are part of the symptoms that you could see with bipolar disorder. So that's another thing. Another thing, what else? Could just be, she just have this agitation in her. Her personality is just, when you see things, you get irritated with things so easily, and then you relay your anger on students, which is not supposed to be. So she needs to be evaluated.
First of all, there are so many medical conditions that could be affecting her mentally.
Different medical conditions.
So many things. And now this video is also, if you are watching and you are a leader, you own a church, you own a school, an institution where people have to come to obtain knowledge. I don't know, like, if you own a school or an institution where people have to visit you daily, I think that you have to take mental assessment very seriously. Very, very seriously. The people you put in charge, especially in school, we have Sunday school teachers. Some of them could even have mental issues, but we never knew about it. But in our mind, we just say this person gets angry easily. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's important that
to
you
evaluate
these people you put in key positions. Yes. Evaluate them to know if they are okay or not. Because if there's a camera that films something that happens in your school or your church and it goes viral, I'm telling you that the reputation of your institution will never ever remain the same
at all.
So it is important to evaluate the people working with you to know if they are okay mentally or if they are not, because a lot of people have mental issues but they don't know. You see, in Nigeria, we have this belief that it is only people that are mad and roaming the streets that are mentally unstable. But that's not true.
No, it's not.
Now we are going to go to a different topic entirely. And we want to talk about parents.
Okay.
I strongly believe that some of our parents had mental issues.
Okay.
but we never knew about it. Yes, because we have this mentality that African parents, they are always very strict. They scream at you. They'll even throw a bucket at you. They'll flog you mercilessly. There are so many things that they do. We grew up just accepting that as a normal behavior. But now that we are adults, now that we've begun to study, we watch movies, we learn about cultures from other people, we have exposure, we are beginning to see that those things may not actually be normal. Okay. It's possible that some of our parents had, is it ADHD or mental issues that they themselves did not even know about, and even up to now nobody is helping them to manage it. Some of you will testify that what I'm saying is true. Your parents, some of you are totally ashamed of your parents because they can't even control themselves when they behave. Just like your parents coming to your schools, your heart is already beating because you know that just little thing can provoke them and they'll begin to show their true character out there.
Right.
So what do you think about this? Do you agree with me that some parents might be suffering from mental illness but may not even know anything about it?
Okay, so let me say it as a baseline that discipline a child, you understand, controlling a child to do what is right is normal for a parent. Do you understand? But when you come to Africa like this, that's where you see people beating a child aggressively,
punishing a child
from morning till afternoon. You are still there, your hands are still raised up. You understand what I'm saying? So there are a lot of factors that really affect parents into punishing children like that. Trust me, economy factor is there. When parents don't have this money, when they are struggling, and then poverty is just, they are encapsulated into poverty, and then there is no way to just get this money. And then you as a child, they expect you to perhaps go and sell something or go and do something that will bring money for them, and you are misbehaving. They will express that aggression on you.
I think that is this kind of, most of the mental illness that exists, I'm sure it's from these economic factors that some of them even came up. Because when things are so bad, whatever you are earning is not enough to take care of yourself, let alone your 4 children, your wife. You have to pay your house rent. Some of them are in school, they need school fees. All these things become overwhelming. You begin to have sleepless nights. You're unable to think straight. Then when a child is frustrating you, then you begin to display that mental illness. But from a perspective of somebody else, you could just say a frustrated father. But now let's look at it from the medical perspective. Beyond the frustration, what could be that underlying illness that is causing that person to react that way? We understand that the person could be, if we want to trace when that behavior started, it's possible when the person lost his job. I've seen cases like that. Some people, their mental health changed when they lost their relationship, or they lost their job, or their business collapsed, or maybe their wife left them, or something happened in their life, something that affected them so much that it affected them mentally too. And somehow they've not been able to get medical assistance. So they've been able to continue living that way, and even it's become a part of their life. It's
become a reality for them. So it's unfortunate for them actually. So, but majorly, one thing is post-traumatic stress disorder. You see that, just like you explained, somebody faced one unfortunate scenario, and then since then, that person is being aggressive, that person is relaying anger on other people. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a very, very important thing. Very, very important disorder that we should take note of.
And a lot of people in Nigeria have this disorder.
A lot.
But they don't know.
A lot of people. Perhaps watching me might have it exactly.
Who knows if me I even have it? It's possible.
You understand? So it just makes people just relay their anger, relay whatever it is you are passing through on other people. Do you understand? So whatever I passed through, perhaps you lost a job, perhaps your friend or your spouse left you, and then you are all alone, and then it increased. Depression will seep in, anxiety will seep in, and then it begin to metamorphosize into post-traumatic depression. And at the time, you begin to hallucinate, especially if you're isolated or if you're alone. And then symptoms of madness will come in, as if you are going through some mental health condition. Do you understand what I'm saying? So ideally, if we remove the fact that, okay, a parent should be a disciplinarian, do you understand? Somehow, we are having all this medical and mental health condition that have seeped into our lifestyle. Then we begin to relay all of those conditions on people displacement, just like I said earlier. So all of those things begin to seep in. Why some people could have borderline personality disorder, aggressive personality disorder, some are just OCD, being obsessed unnecessarily, repetitive behaviors. All of those things can be, engrossed with someone, and then you could see all of those things happening.
Yeah, I wanted to talk. Now you just remind me about OCD. Oh God, sorry, I'm switching. I'm jumping
No, it's
from
fine.
one thing
It's
to
fine.
another.
It's fine.
My friend studied psychometry. She'll be doing her PhD next year.
Oh, okay.
So she's a psychometrician. So that's a different branch of psychology entirely. I'm sure you know about it. Now, sorry, I just wanted to mention this, but now the OCD part you're talking about, this was something that was happening to me, but I never knew. In a day, I could wash my hands more than 15 times. Sometimes I would want to leave the house.
Okay.
I'll go to my car, then I'll come back upstairs. Something will tell me I did not lock the door.
Okay.
I'll lock the door, come down. As I'm about to drive again, something will tell me, you just went up, but you didn't lock the door. You just went up, forgot what you went there to do.
Yeah.
I'll go again, come back. Something will tell me, Baba, you not even go again. You only thought of it, but you never went upstairs.
So you go back again.
Do you understand?
So I did.
Is that OCD or what?
Well, it's not.
Oh, that was OCD, Jesus.
It's
It's
not.
possible I have mental illness.
It's not OCD.
What of the one of washing my hands all the time?
It's not OCD.
That is not OCD.
Yes, you have to be diagnosed of OCD. That's okay. You have OCD. Before you know that you're having OCD.
Okay,
when
what
you
is
have
OCD?
It's a mental health.
What's
OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder. So it's a repetitive behavior. You find yourself doing some things over and over again.
Like me washing my hand.
Okay,
now.
that one could just be stress could cause it. You can be stressed, you can be having some anxiousness, or perhaps, okay, I'll need to go and do a presentation. I'll check my tie all of the time. You understand? Check my dressing, check my hair, all of those in repetitive
Okay,
behavior.
I think I understand what you're trying to say. We're
Do you
trying to say
understand?
that until I'm diagnosed, I
Until
cannot
you are
confidently
diagnosed,
say
you
this is
understand?
what it
So
is.
if after you've been seeing all of those things, you go to a psychiatrist, what's up, psychiatrist? I'm having this thing repetitively. You will diagnose, he will assess you, perhaps do some scan before he say that, okay, you're having OCD. So it's a misconception a lot of people have. And then let's take, for instance, now, they robbed your neighbor, and then you have that thing in mind that Alpha, if you come my own house tomorrow, so you could just be checking at the door maybe up to 100 times. Alpha, shall I lock this door? You go inside again, come back in. Alpha, shall I lock this door? Do you understand? It's just because you are agitated, or perhaps you are just fearful. You are having that fear in you that something could happen. So washing plates, all of them. If you see someone with OCD, it's very crazy. It's very crazy. You could just see a stain like this, and then that person will be there for 1 hour
Until I remove that stain.
until you remove that stain.
I used to be like that when I was young.
You understand? You might be traveling, and the person will stop you. Please, can you match break? There is something
There's something I saw.
very ridiculous.
There's a stone I saw somewhere. That stone is not supposed to be there.
Quite, in fact, quite unfortunate.
When I was a child, that thing happens to me a
Do you
lot.
understand? So you have to be diagnosed of it. That okay, this thing is happening before someone.
God,
you understand?
I
So
need
you
help.
see people being obsessed over trivial things that don't count at all. You just that nail. Do you understand? Or eating that food has to be arranged
In a
certain way. If not, that person will never hit. Even if the person go hungry, the person doesn't care.
The pot has to be covered perfectly.
The pot has to be covered perfectly. The water has to be at the brim. The cubes has to be arranged, and go and scatter that cube the person is trying to arrange, or the puzzle. Then you see what OCD is.
Or even the straw pillow, if it's not placed
If it's not placed, or you came into the person's house and then you threw your leg like this, you understand this. The person will be vibing with you, but immediately you leave. Person will make sure he cleans that thing.
I think when I was a child, somehow this was
So
part of me.
it makes people inefficient, unproductive. Such person can be an intelligent person, can be very hardworking, but because you spend more time trying to adjust something or be obsessed about something, you are less efficient and less effective with job. So it's quite unfortunate that such person is.
Please share your experience. If you're watching, share your experience in the comment section. Let's hear from you. I want to know that we are not alone, because from all he's explaining, I'm becoming scared of myself. Who knows if I go to the psychiatric hospital,
Okay,
and I get to tell them. But one thing about psychiatry, one thing about this thing called a psychiatric hospital is that how do you truly ascertain if somebody is well or not? Because it is only the information the person gives you that you use to analyze that person. So what if the person is not giving you accurate information, or what the person is telling you is entirely false? Then how can you ascertain if truly what that person is saying defines the person's reality or not?
So there's what we call family history. You go through the person's family history. They won't just bring someone to your office and then you just say, the person is doing like this. That person might be stressed, temporary stressed. Do you understand? So you go through family history. What is happening? You check the gene. There are some gene factor that can be in that person's body that could just give us the suggestion that this person is suffering from this. You analyze that such person gene, and then behaviors too. You analyze it repetitively. It's not just what you see. You assess. After a long period of time, you come back again, and then in different scenarios. You understand? During pressure, when everything is cool, when everything is calm, you assess that person at different scenarios, different situations. You assess such person before you could say that, okay, this person is this. And then sometimes you could need scan, perhaps MRI or functional magnetic resonance imaging. You could assess that person's brain. You see the image come out. This part, there are some neurons doing this and that there. There are some part of the brain structurally that is not really having some connection. Fine, you see it there. There's a map like that you see, and then you could interpret it as something like this is happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these are the things we put together: lifestyle modification. Then you have people who come with you. What have you observed when something like this happens? What do you see? How is the person's reaction to this and this and this and this? Before you could know if you could rehabilitate the person or not. Sometimes you could it's just therapy. You could speak, avoid this, avoid that, avoid taking this. And some people codeine, all of these things. It's just as simple as stopping those kind of drugs, those abuse, because there are some chemical substances in those abuse that could make you seem as though you are running mad. And as time goes on, illusion can be your reality. So because one way or the other, you want to travel, you want to go high. So when you've assumed that position temporarily, and then you continue, your body will assume that, okay, this is the pathway to go now. And then you just continue like that. So it could just be lifetime modification. Stop this, stop that. And if it's about drugs, maybe perhaps antidepressant, inhibitors, neurotransmitter inhibitors, dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, all of those things like this, we can give it to you. You use it for a number of time, and then you will be feeling fine. And if not, if the case don't go gaga, alpha, we will rehabilitate you, perhaps to an asylum, or commit that person to an asylum or whatsoever. So those are the kind of things you see, and then you compute it together, you assess such person.
This is really, it's crazy, man. Truth is, a lot of people have mental illnesses, but they don't even know about it.
Quite so much. A lot of people have mental, and that's why I do see that you are thin line from being mad. Everybody have one touch of madness, one way or the other in us. You understand? In our reality, almost every day, for some few seconds, you move out of your reality into the world of illusion. Temporarily, you bounce back to your reality again. You move out, you bounce back in your reality again. You'll be lost in the subconscious world. So, but at the time, when you move out of your reality and you can't bounce back anymore, you are going into that depth of subconsciousness. You are hallucinating and all of those things. Then we call you a madman or a madwoman. That means you are not, illusions have become your reality. You are seeing things that are not there. You are communicating with people who are not there. And then you are losing sense of hygiene or cleanliness. You don't really care about how neat your clothes is, how tattered your hair is. You don't even give a damn about it. Why? Because you are losing that kind of sense. So that's why it's very, very much advised that we don't get isolated for so long. Yes. You don't get so much isolated. You have people around you. You communicate with people. I was explaining something in my video one time. Hikikomori. It's a mental health disorder. See, there are a lot of mental health disorders.
Educators, that's why you're here now.
Okay, so hikikomori is majorly, you see symptoms relating to being introverted, but you are not actually introverted. You're having a mental health disorder. So it's a word coined, a Japanese word coined like that. So you see this kind of people, you don't want to associate with people. You cut off relationship with parents, with friends. All you want to do is just to be alone. In your home mind, you are everything. You are the father, you are the mother, you are the neighbor, you are the houseboy. Everything is encapsulated into your mind. So you really don't need anybody. So far, you are eating. And then when you are in that world, that sense, after a long period of time, you begin to hallucinate. You begin to say things that are not there. You say things to people, you communicate. In fact, sometimes you go having a group meeting or a community meeting. What do you think about this? Only you.
That one is going to be on soliloquizing.
Soliloquizing. That one is going to be on soliloquizing or being introverted. What do you think about it? No. Just hold on. Let him speak. Only you will be there, and then you'll be communicating. Everything is set inside your brain, and that is not supposed to be, because of too much isolation. You are not really mingling with people, and some people post-traumatic, just like we said, you lost someone, a close person to you, mother or a father, and then since then you don't want to relate with anybody again. So it's very, very important that anybody that lost someone, find that person out, give the person a job, let the person be busy every day, mingle with people, you speak with people, no matter how the job is, even though it's not really giving you, paying you so much, instead of being isolated. Now some people, especially youths, boys, they go ahead to take substance use, colos, crack, codeine, cocoa, crack, all of those things. They begin to take them, and then when you begin to take all of those things, the hallucination heightens up, and then later schizophrenia enter. You understand? You begin to see things that are not there. That is you being, and you'll be wearing clothes. Yoruba call it were alasho. A mad person, but you are still putting on clothes. Your heart's normal sometimes. Some can be good intellectually, mathematics. Do you understand? But later when they are isolated again, they speak with people that are not there. They communicate with people who are not there. So it's quite a lot of...
Now you're making me scared. Although that one does not... There's something I noticed that happens to me a lot, even without me trying. I could just be here. As I'm talking, as we are having this conversation now, I'll just be looking. The next thing, I'll just see myself maybe walking with a briefcase, entering like a private jet.
Well,
wait, do you understand me?
Yes, yeah.
Then, in that, whether it's illusion to call it, then maybe as I'm about to enter, the lady will now give me hand sanitizer
and
to wash my. No, I won't do mine like that. Oh. Then I want to tell her thank you. Sometimes I feel like I need to say the thank you word, then I want to replay it back. Then I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I leave this world and go elsewhere and create my own reality. Then I can just be here now, just imagining, maybe you are my friend, imagining the both of us, we have finally made it, we are now successful, or we are in politics. What decision should we make for Nigeria? Or maybe somebody offends you and you just try to start thinking of all the possible ways you could just mess that person up. Do you understand me? Or maybe, I don't just know how to explain it. How do I explain this thing to you?
I get you very much.
This is something that I've had to happen, that I've had to experience for so long. I don't know if you're watching this video, this is something you also experienced. To me, it's just normal. But sitting with you right now, something is making me feel like, brother, this is not normal.
So now, let me make it clear. You don't need to be scared. Perhaps you're also facing something like this. That is just mere imaginations.
But my own why though?
You are being optimistic. You are being optimistic. You are dreaming of something.
Is that daydreaming? Or that one is different?
So yes, daydreaming. Could be there, lost in, and they call your name, Alpha. You understand? That's daydreaming. Do you get what I'm saying? So you are just imagining things. It might not be even good things. You are even imagining positive things. Someone watching me might be imagining bad things. Alpha, if somebody just come with cutlass now and see me. Do you understand? You get this. You've started looking. You get what I'm saying? So those are just mere imagination. Now there's a state. Okay, so we are at a conscious level. There's a state we call the subconscious level. And above this conscious level, there's what we call the superconscious level. I don't know if you are familiar with that.
No.
So this conscious level is the state we have now. You are hearing what I'm saying. You could communicate. You can be distracted, right? And then doing some other things. But as at the time I leave you, or as I'm explaining something like this, then you begin to imagine, Kai, within this guy they talk like this. You understand? You are not listening to me anymore. You are lost in a trance. That's your subconscious state. Do you understand? You do things by default. The way I'm expressing with my hands like this is by default. That's my subconscious mind doing it. I don't know that I'm doing what I'm doing right now. That's the subconscious state I am. Do you understand? Then superconscious state, that's another thing entirely. Let's say, for instance, you are in the exam hall, and then at that time you are super conscious. You are not just conscious. Anything like this, you understand, can take your attention. You get it? But let me come back to your question exactly. So that's just a state of you imagining. That's just a subconscious state. There is no problem about that. When you come to hallucination or schizophrenia, when that person gives you hand sanitizer or something, you will do it like this. You will stand up from your seat and go and sit down at the passenger seat.
Yes.
Do you understand? And then you want to speak to the pilot, so you stand up from there and you will move.
So that is something to worry about.
Do you understand what I'm saying now? So that one takes your expression. It's now yourself. That's the world of illusion is now your reality. So you walk in that reality. And meanwhile, it's illusion.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying now? So it's just a subconscious level of you imagining things. I wish to be like this. I want to do like this. Or when I get there, this person annoys me. The first thing I will first do now is to die and slap. You understand? And then your hormones inside of you are already working with your imagination. You can be sweating at that moment and there is AC. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the body gets to synchronize with whatever it is that it's inside your brain. You know, there's what we call mental dependency, physical dependency. There's what we call the mind has its own body, has its own soul. The body has its own mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? So your body itself could synchronize with your mind, and one way or the other, you could make things work out, make things happen. When someone is hallucinating or seeing things that are not there, going into that world of illusion, such person's body will react according to the mind. Do you understand? So when you are imagining, you can just be there sitting or standing up or at the bus or driving. You are still at a position imagining all those things. When it comes to you hallucinating or having some form of schizophrenia, you act out whatever it is that you are saying. Somebody's shouting with you, you go on to shout, no, they tell me anything. That is not evil forces. That is not village people. That is schizophrenia. So I wish we could just juxtapose between this. Whenever people see it, they'll be like, they don't do an last. They don't follow him. As in, they know they follow him. They are not just following, they are subscribed to his channel. And they even turn on notification bell. You get what I'm saying, right? But it is not like that. There are sometimes you just take that person to the psychiatrist. A proper diagnosis will happen, and then such person will be diagnosed. And, at the end of the day, you have a good life. Lifestyle modification too. Perhaps what you eat, the time you wake up, where you sleep exactly, can also determine.
These things can affect mental health.
Yes, the place you sleep is just so noisy, so scattered, so disorganized. You can be assuming all those things as human beings or as one thing or the other in your brain. So serenity also affects mental health condition.
What about those that sleep with blue and red light?
Blue and red light. Well, that is just
those things can also affect.
Do you understand? I was talking about sleep paralysis.
Hey.
In my video. I think we should not go to.
No, let's go there. That's been my reality since I was a child. Jesus Christ, it's so scary.
So sleep paralysis now could also happen. That is when, at an instance, a situation where someone wake up from sleep, and then you close you could open your eyes, but you can't move. Now you are the conscious state. Your
consciousness is awake, but your body is not awake.
Exactly. So that's a part of your brain. That means there's a part of your brain that hasn't woken up your body yet, but your mind is awake. So in that state, the brain is confused. Alpha, I don't wake, but this guy never wake.
And it's so scary.
Do you understand? It's so scary.
Jesus.
Sometimes you can feel breathlessness.
Yes, you feel like you're losing your breath. You're about dying. You're suffocating.
You're about dying. So it's just sleep paralysis.
But the people die from it.
Okay, well, there are some situations that some people can actually pass away from it.
But scientists will say, according to Google, they say nobody has ever died from it.
There are some
that is just scary for a few seconds.
Though it's very rare that some people can. There's some people who the agitation overwhelmed their soul after that thing happened, and then those people, perhaps older people, no strength, nothing. Do you understand? They could just have something and then they've gone from there. But generally, it's something that happened, with normal people, and majorly when you sleep on your back, it happens like that.
That's when it happens the most, when you sleep and you face the ceiling.
You face the ceiling. So
or you tie your legs or your hands when sleeping.
Yes.
From my perspective.
Yeah.
There's sometimes, yeah.
It happens like that. So we advise sometimes you sleep on your side. When you sleep on your side, the ability to wake is still better. It's still very much easier. You understand? And then when such thing happen to you next time, you understand, when you are like that, your back is laid and then you can't even move. Don't worry, that process will go away. You understand? It's not a bad thing to call on Jesus, to call on whatsoever thing
Once
you
you
believe
call
in.
on Jesus, you immediately wake up.
So
But you
good.
can call other names and nothing will happen.
Yeah, nothing will happen. So Jesus intervened and then something good happened. Do you understand what I'm saying? But ideally, you could be there, you could feel like, how can somebody just come and carry me up or wake me up? And then sometimes you could just try your best to make some moves. You could just try to tweak your finger, raise your head. It is very difficult to do that, but if you can do that, you can sabotage that surge. The brain, we are like a system, like a computer system. So it's like a glitch in our system. The brain has not gotten to it's not well formed in the brain that you are woken already. The part of the brain, the parietal lobe, that is responsible for the part of the body is not yet working well, as at that time you just woke. You understand? So when you tweak your body or you do something, you can just switch that glitch. Do you understand? Into thinking that, okay, alpha, I don't wake, I beg, let me release my body, make a move. You understand, that kind of thing. So it's usually happen. Sleep paralysis is part of the things that usually happen to people. And sometimes people can be tired, so stressed out, there's no even glucose in your body, in your brain to just help you out. So you could just be there and then you can't move. But within short period of time, some people shout, some people begin to pray as they are. Sometimes you can't even pray. You just begin to pray in your mind and just be staring at one place. And then some people can just sleep off and then wake up back. So it's happens. It's just a surge in the brain like that. A lot of times the brain, have some little glitch like a computer system. It's very, very interesting. The brain is the most complex organ in the body. Not just complex, it's the most complex thing on earth. So it's quite, till now we are still doing studies, neuroscientific studies about the brain, what is going on with the brain. So it's quite interesting. A lot of things happen in the brain. So
wow.
Yeah.
This is really crazy.
So majority of the time you just do this. But whenever you feel things that are not there, where you see people that are not there, when you see symptoms that are abnormal, seek out counsel. Go to the hospital. Some people going to the hospital seem as if they are traveling abroad. It's not a big deal. Go to the hospital and check yourself. To just go to the hospital and then you are signing, to the process of seeing the consultant or seeing the therapist or seeing the psychiatrist could just be a big deal for you. But no, it is important to go because all of these things are progressive. One way or the other, it can keep seeping in and then you begin to assume that illusion or whatsoever as your reality. And then at a point in time, you can just be ejected from reality. And one thing, I still saw someone last week, a boy who often take colos on the street. I was so sad. Not too disappointed because I know something like that could lead there, but I was so sad about the boy. He takes colos, he takes all of these things, you understand. I haven't talked to him over time, but the next time I saw him at a roundabout like that with his clothes on, at the point we saw ourselves, sometimes they will vibe with you understand, but they will go back to their state of, you can't take them home. They will see that place as a place to rest, as a home, more than the home that you are taking them to. That place could be having some kind of effect in their brain, some blockage in their brain. But Jesus. When you take them back to that street, that is home. That is where they feel good about it.
The mind is a very powerful tool, honestly. It can be in your favor and it can totally be against you. Yes, because, the people that we call mad people right now, they think that we are the mad ones. Yeah. Because in their reality, in their consciousness, everything makes sense. They've lost the ability to tell what death means. Like you said something that when somebody is getting mad, that they begin to lose that consciousness to differentiate what cleanness is from dirtiness, right?
Yes.
And they begin to lose other things too. Wow, can you imagine?
They begin to lose other attitude, your other normal things.
You want to
really
shave your hair. You would want to have your bath. You want to change your clothes.
You lose sense of hygiene.
You lose sense of.
If you want to remove your clothes, it's not like
you
that.
You lose sense of shame as well.
Sense of shame, it's not even there again. Do you understand? Though instinctively, like someone who asks me that, how is a madman able to cross the road? There are some instinctive things that can still happen. You can cross the road because those things are of instinct. A madman can't be eating and be putting inside his ears.
Yes.
You understand? Instinctively, you know that it's the mouth.
He has not lost sense.
Yes.
He has not lost sense of.
Yes, all those normal things that we do, and then memories too are still there. You can take him to the lab now, stimulate some part of his brain, and then all of those memories. Maybe perhaps you need an information, or perhaps there is a forensic analysis, or there is something going on, and then you need a bad person to give you that information. Take the person to the lab. Use some technology to stimulate some part of his brain.
Yeah.
And it will tell you the story on how everything went.
My friend, I told you she's a psychometrician.
Okay.
So I used to study sometimes because when I'm around her, I want to be able to talk about her work and what she studied. So I think I learned it 18 or so. There's what they call cognitive function.
Cognitive function.
And which other one again? There's the one that is also similar to cognitive function. I think what you're trying to explain is the one they call cognitive function, if I'm not mistaken.
You are
so
right.
Is that part of the brain, that you're able to do
all of those things instinctively?
Yes, those things.
So this part of my brain, this forehead, do you understand? That is the cerebrum. You see when they say cerebral something, cerebral function, cerebral malaria, that is the cognitive part of your brain, this forehead like this, and it's split into two. We have the left hemisphere, we have the right hemisphere. So your consciousness also is there. The left part for intelligence, for calculation, for language, you understand. The right part for creativity,
what
emotions.
Is it called? Cognitive function, and which other one again? God of Nazareth.
Memory something?
No, there are two.
Okay.
So I'm trying my best to. I read
emotional parts of the brain.
No, you've explained it, but it's divided into two
hemispheres.
No, you already explained it, but I wish I had prepared for this interview. I never knew we'll speak to this direction because I know that I studied it because she's a psychometrician and I wanted us to, I don't want to have a conversation with somebody and I'm lost. I want to be able to understand the terms associated with your field of study. Do you understand? And sometimes ask you questions, debate, argue, understand what you're talking about. So I learned about this cognitive function and a lot of other things too. Even that question I asked you about testing, like how do you carry out tests to know that
to evaluate or assess someone's mental health condition.
Yes, right? I did a lot of reading about it. Just that I read it once, I can't remember.
Okay.
But if I go back to read it again, have this conversation with you, I'll never forget it. You understand? So I wish I had done that.
It's fine. We could still have time to discuss all of these and then.
Sorry, this is just a conversation. So it's not like maybe like an interview. It's more like we are sitting to just talk about mental health
conditions. Yeah. So it's vast. There is a lot of things that are associated with the brain. The emotional part of your brain, the cognitive part of your brain. And when we talk about cognitive ability or cognitive function, we're talking about learning, your memory consolidations, in fact emotions too. Do you understand? Because the right part of your brain also deals about emotion. And then the middle part of your brain, there's a part, you understand, we call the limbic system. We have the hippocampus, the amygdala, all of those things are there to regulate your emotions. And then we have the parts that control our muscle. The way I'm doing my gestures like this, the way I'm adjusting my legs, it's the part of the brain. So everything about you is controlled in the brain.
The brain. Okay.
Yes. And there's even a phenomenon that says, I know if I start this one, we won't live here.
Tell me.
About the fact that when someone dies or when they kill someone brain can still be functioning few seconds, few minutes, even after death.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
You've heard something like that before.
The person's brain will still be active.
Yes, the person
even after the person have stopped breathing.
Yes. So there's a phenomenon around that. It's associated with the fact that
hours. I think I heard hours too.
Yes, there is hours. There's a story about hours where they still put the person's brain scan, and then they could see movements of neurons.
Movement of neurons.
Do you understand what I'm saying? But majorly it's seconds. Do you get it? Even gunshot sometimes. Do you understand? Gunshot doesn't really last as long, but you could see some seconds. But when somebody is stabbed to death, the person eats poison, the person was bleeding till death. Do you understand? You could see the brain still active. And at that moment, your brain is thinking a lot of things. At that few seconds, your brain is thinking that, let's just assume somebody came to stab you in the house or came to kill you. You recognize the person. And inside your brain, you'll be like, guy, why do you do me like this? Meanwhile, the person is not moving. The person is getting cold already. The heart is reducing. Metabolism is reducing. The heart is getting cold. You understand? Different things happen. The breathing rate has reduced. At that moment, you'll be like, guy, now you do me like this. You are planning on strategies to revenge. Even after you're dead, your brain is planning, or your brain is also imagining that, how can somebody just enter now and just save me from this guy? Or how can I just record myself and say, is this guy that killed me? Your brain is saying, but you are already like this. But at that few seconds, the brain is actually imagining some things before the brain actually dies.
In all these things you are saying, something is just coming through my mind. It might sound weird. I'm here thinking that, what if the brain is actually, how do I explain it? I used to watch cartoons where aliens will come and they'll now crawl, they'll now fly on top the human head. You understand? They'll now, what's that thing called? What's that thing called? Dominate. It's not dominate is the word. They do not control.
Okay.
Just like a parasite. You know what a parasite does?
Yes. It comes
to you and then.
Yes. Then take your whole being. Yeah. You understand?
That's what I'm saying.
Control.
The brain is always thinking of survival. Like why am I even? Sorry.
Yeah. Those are the survival instincts.
That what if the brain is? See, God of God, why am I running this thing? I'm just thinking that, what if the brain is like the main thing?
Okay. Main thing.
In the body.
Okay. What do you mean by?
Do you understand? Because for you to say that even after somebody's heart stopped beating, which is the only way we know that someone is dead. Okay. The moment your pulse is no longer
effective,
is no longer breathing.
Significant.
Yes. The moment your pulse is dead, it's a sign that your body is dead, you are totally gone. But then the brain is still alive. Then I'm here just imagining that, what if the brain is just on its own, but just harbored itself in a human body, finding its way to survive. Okay. You understand? While it's doing its own thing, what it really came to do, but it's trying to satisfy the human body in a way that the human body is not distracted enough to think that something is wrong. I mean, if you want to lift your hand, you understand, the human brain is already sending all the signals to make sure that as fast as possible to make sure that you lift your hand. If you want to scratch somewhere, it's doing that. It's satisfying the human body. Everything the human body is giving it. But then is a host on the human body. It's here for its own thing. Maybe part of its bigger mission. But the human body has its own separate mission, and it's just, okay, I'm doing my own job, but I just want to stay in your body, don't disturb me. I'm just here thinking, I don't know where this
there is this movie, what was it called?
Another thing I thought of again is this.
Okay.
What if all this one that somebody is daydreaming is just a superhuman ability, but scientists do not want people to embrace it, or do not want people to think that is not something to worry about, so they now make up names for it. ADHD, what are all those mental illness names?
bipolar disorder,
ASD,
and stuff.
But what if this is just an extraordinary ability for humans to leave their world, this world, and go to another world? What if there's now potential to even do more things? Do you understand me? I'm just saying. No, but they now came up with names. Okay. Do you understand? To cause, what's that thing called?
Which one?
What's that thing called? Though they now came up with names to stigmatize people. You know that when this is happening to you, then this is what it is. Okay. But what if that could just be a sign of you unleashing your supernatural ability? Do you understand? I'm just saying no.
Okay, so now there are different things I could say about this. There are some stages we could be that could warrant that. So, but first of all, let me set as a baseline that anything you hear from the science world, any terminology you hear, is not just cooked up to stigmatize people. It's not just cooked up to make people get scared of themselves. It's about studies. The science world as it is a body. You don't just come up with something and then we just say, oh, what can we call it now? Ikikomori. It will enter that kind of thing. Let's call it ikikomori. Well, this one now, somebody is having should just steal something from you. What can we call it? Klepto. Let's use kleptomania. That mania part is the disorder. So let us. Do you understand? And then most of these words are even gotten from Greek language, Latin words combined together and then used as terminology. So it's not just, they don't just cook it up, it's a body on its own. After so many studies, you could hear all those hypotheses before it becomes theory and all of those things. All of those things, any terminology, scientific terminology you hear, they go through all those processes before it becomes a theory or a law in the science body. So let me establish that and then put it out there. Now, the fact that, what about all of these things? Is it not just a supernatural aspect of us being able to do all of these things? And then not just being, not just giving his name that this is this or this is that. Well, there are some spiritual things, do you understand? Where we even go to the fact of body, mind, and soul. In fact, spirit. Do you understand? That's another thing entirely. That's where we now bring spirituality into the game. You get it? There's something called astral projection. I don't know, have you heard about it before? It's a state. You see all of these Buddhists, they do it. It's as if you are meditating, but at a point you eject your soul from your body. Do you get what I'm saying? If I go into astral projection as I am like this, I can hear what they are saying in the next compound.
Even if you are here?
Yes. It's just a kind of status.
Then how will you know that what you are hearing is true and not just from your own reality?
So that's why we are complex human beings. When we go into the aspect of soul, into the mind and all of those things like that, it is so much. You could hear some people saying that after someone died, infrared catch up the soul leaving the person's body and all of those things. Those are still hypothetical. They are not something you just make as a theory. Do you understand? That infrared, you see the picture as if the soul is leaving the person's body and all of those things. So when we go to the spiritual aspect of it, this our brain is the mind. Do you understand? When you go to the spiritual aspect of it, that's when you now see people leaving their body. Astral projection, people going into another place and then doing some other thing. Seeing some other things that are there. Spirituality, Christians, they fast. Why do they fast? Fasting is not just about making yourself hungry. You get what I'm saying? It's not just about just getting famished. You want to suppress the body. You want to suppress the pleasure so that you can have access to the spirit, to the mind. A lot of things like this we can't do. Why? Because we are just overwhelmed with pleasure. If you want to eat, you eat. If you want to knack, you knack. If you want to drink water, you drink water. If you want to dance, you dance. If you want to... The pleasure, we are overwhelmed with it. Dopamine, serotonin, all of those pleasure hormones are just, rushing within us. You get the point? So when you fast, you deplete all of those basic needs. Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of need, food, water, and knack. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you deprive yourself of all of those things, then easily you can hear God's spirit speaking to you. You can remove yourself from where you are and then listen. You can even hear more, better. When you deprive yourself of food and all of those things, you are not just distracted. Hormones are not just running within you. Your body is humbled because you are not eating, you are not drinking water, and you are not knacking, which are the basic needs. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So all of those periods, then you can see someone going into astral projection and all of those things. And then now talking about supernaturals, the ability to do something. Then we will go into mutants, because we have mutants. Some people having some kind of ability, some genes in them that they could do some things that are abnormal. Do you understand? You see abilities for somebody to write things speedily, to just see something once.
Do you believe in mutants?
Mutant, definitely. It's scientific.
It's scientific?
Yes.
Hey, I'll go study more.
It's scientific.
I thought it was just...
No. It's scientific. Do you understand? Though you see movies exaggerating things, definitely. But it's scientific. Mutant is just gene combined. There's a mistake or somewhere. There's,
that
mixture.
Give them the ability to do
that give them
ability
things
to
that
do. Normal human
do you get that thing? Just like animals too. Dogs, you mix Chihuahua, Rottweiler, or Boomer Mastiff and Rottweiler. You mix the breed together. It will give you one super fast, attentive dog like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we too, as humans, we can mix ourselves to the point that we get mutant, having some kind of special abilities to do one thing or the other that are crazy. Do you understand? And then also science, we believe in the metaphysical too. Metaphysical in the aspect of you disappearing, or in the aspect of you that's as if in quote like there is a spiritual word. Do you understand? We believe in that too, that you can just do some things that are beyond normal. Do you get what I'm saying, right? You people can do things that are beyond normal. Do you get it? Just so
that's interesting.
Yeah. So the brain is just so complex. The human being itself is also complex. And then what you said about the body as a host for the brain. Yes. There is a book. There's a book I gave someone last year. So the title of the book is The Body Has Its Own Mind. I think I said something like that earlier on. The body itself has its own mind. When the person is dead, the person can still glitch the hand, move the leg. Do you understand? Scratching, the hand knows where exactly to scratch. You don't have to put your eyeball to that place.
That's the brain at work there.
That's the brain at work. Do you understand? So because it's used to the body is used to the brain, so the body also subconsciously, by default, do something out. Do you understand? Acts, scratch and do all of those things. There's what we call proprioception. That's another thing about the body again. If somebody jam your car, it's as if the person hits you. Do you understand? It's still something about the whole body itself. If you are walking with stick, perhaps you are seeing, or somebody is blind, is walking with stick. If somebody hits that stick, as if the person hits part of your body. So there's something we call proprioception, where the body assumes a space to be my space. If I do something like this, I'm not hitting you, but it's as if I've come into your space. Half a guy, no touch me. I don't touch you now. What's up? But the body has assumed there's an energy surrounding this place that, okay, this is my space and this is what I can do. That's proprioception. The body having its own mind, and then they work in synchronization with the mind. And that's why when we talk about astral projection, that's the stage where you could just eject yourself from your body. And then there's some levels that are crazy that normal human beings shouldn't go into, because later on you can just from there be hallucinating, seeing illusions as your reality, and it's not really suggestive. If somebody says I should do astral projection as I am like this, I won't even do it. I don't even want to do it. I'm not interested.
I think I see TikTok videos about it, but I don't even want to think about it.
It's not
something. I have a lot in my life to worry about.
Astral projection. So it's crazy.
When it comes to mental health, there's a lot to talk about.
Very
honestly, we've sat here for almost 2 hours now, and we've just been talking and talking and talking. Yeah. And if I should start asking all the questions in my mind, I don't think we'll even be able to live here.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just speak before you continue. About the mutation, something. There's what we call congenital anhidrosis. That happens among kids. When you're flogging a child, the child is not feeling pain. Do you understand? It's a disorder of the nervous system, whereby somebody is insensitive to pain, insensitive to temperature. In fact, sometimes such person don't sweat as such. So that happened in the case of teacher, just like the scenario we gave the other time. The teacher is beating the child, though the problem is with the teacher now. But in this case, in this scenario, you are beating the child and the child is not crying. And the more you beat the child, the more you feel agitated. And they beat this one, they cry. The more you beat that child, and that will lead to more injuries. In fact, it can cause death. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So that's a situation we call congenital anhidrosis. At that child like this, you can see him as a mutant in a way. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you don't feel pain.
Yeah.
There's some people, they will stab them. They might not feel the pain. Now when they reach house, it will be after no be blood. They will wait till they come out. They won't know. They don't feel pain. They don't feel the temperature. So we could see individuals with such special ability. I think
that's the power of the brain, though.
Still the brain.
The brain, because even in is it X-Men? No,
okay. X-Men. You mean Wolverine
X-Men,
or Deadpool?
X-Men. The one that say blue pill or red pill.
Matrix.
Yeah, Matrix.
The Matrix.
Yes.
Okay.
When you watch Matrix, you discover that the mind is a very powerful machine, and see, I don't want us to go deep.
It's quite.
You know what's gonna happen?
Okay.
I'll prepare topics.
All right.
Topics that we can talk about, and I'll invite you again. So maybe this time around I'll also prepare. For usually for my interviews, most times
Prepare.
I don't
Yeah.
do a lot. I don't even prepare because we have lots of people we interview
I
daily.
get you.
But let's just say there's a particular topic that I really want us to talk about. I'll go do my own research.
Please do.
You do your research.
All right.
Then we come together, we share, knowledge, and we just ask, have a discussion.
Anytime.
It's just a discussion about the
About it.
particular topic, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that would really be good.
Yeah.
And brothers and sisters, tell me you haven't learned something. I'm sorry this video is longer than necessary, like the normal way my videos would be. But this conversation, there's so much to talk about, lots of questions to ask, because mental health is something that a lot of us ignore. We don't even think about it, but somehow this is what has shaped society into what it is. Some of our leaders have mental issues, but they don't know, and that could even be affecting their leadership. Some of our religious leaders also have mental issues. I saw a video of a lady that said God told her to sell her bed, to give her bed, a bed where she sleeps, that she should stop sleeping on the bed. She should give it away. I don't think God will ask someone to do something like that. That could be a form of mental illness too.
Definitely.
So, and like he said, isolation has caused a lot of issues for people, but unfortunately a fish that is in water cannot even tell that it's in water. If you know someone that is isolated, please try your best to see how you can help them come out of it, because no matter how you try to explain the dangers of isolation to them, they will never truly see it until you bring them out of the isolation. Then it will make sense to them that the life they were living was not truly normal. So Dr. Flash, thank you so much for coming around.
It's my
I
pleasure.
really appreciate you. We've had a very good conversation, and I'd like us to have even more. So if you have questions that you would like to ask, a curiosity you would like to satisfy, indicate it in the comment section. Let us bring Mr. Flash again to come talk about it. I myself, I'll go research topics that I think that we can talk
Please
about
do.
too. So from time to time, we'll bring him around. So guys, thank you so much for watching this very episode. The audio version of it is going to be uploaded on Spotify, so make sure you go to Spotify, search the Lucky Udo Experience if you want to listen to the audio versions of our videos. Thank you. Let's say bye to our viewers.
All right, bye.
And he's going to be tagged to this video. The social media handles is going to be displayed on the screen, so if you have questions or you want to follow up to watch his videos, you'll be able to find him on social media. Dr. Flash on TikTok. I don't know what his names are on other platforms.
Dr. Flash.
Dr. Flash everywhere.
Yes. Or Flashwired. Dr. Flashwired.
Okay, all right.
Yes. On Facebook, Ogbeni Flashwired. So, but other platform, Dr. Flash.
All right. Thank you so much for coming around. Let's say bye to the viewers.
All right.
All right, guys. Bye.
Okay.